We are in northwest North Dakota, Stanley. We're located about halfway between Minot and Williston. We farm from Stanley, between Stanley and Lostwood. My grandfather started the farm. He was actually started the Chevrolet dealership in Stanley, and then acquired some land through the dealership and whatnot, and bought some land. And then my dad added to that and increased the size of the farm. And then from there on, we've taken over the farm. I have two brothers, and each one of us has a portion of the farm and have added on to it. We grow wheat, barley, canola, peas, flax.
I was born and raised here in Stanley. My dad was an electrician at the REC, but graduated a year behind Tim. When Tim got farming out on his own, I learned I guess it was before I learned how to drive the combine. He gave me the manual and told me to go climb out and go in the summer fallow field. So I learned how to drive one afternoon and did it for a few years until Alex was hurt. And basically I haven't been on a combine for 11 years. And so I said it was a big change for us now. Learned how to run the rock picker, but I basically was a city girl from Stanley, and I'm not too good at backing up. So I said, everything he's taught me a lot of things, a few things I won't learn, but.
Like cleaning the combine. Yeah, we basically had to get everything ready, and everything ready in the morning, greased up, blown out, windows washed, because she would just come out and step right in and take off. So you can't let her take too much of the credit.
It was a nice job. I said but they don't realize what I did before, because that was when I did the house stuff and I packed all the lunches. And then when I got all the house stuff done, then I headed out to the farm and they were there. And when they went home at night, I was still on that combine until Dad would let me go home whenever that was. So he kind of set the hours.
When the work's done. Go home when the work's done.
We have 3 sons.
3 sons.
Adam's the oldest, and he's now in Geneva, Switzerland.
Scotty.
Yeah,
landscape designer in Denver, and he came home this spring to help with the crop and getting some of the crop in the ground. Alex is still going to school. He's was graduated from USC at Christmas time, this past Christmas, and is now pursuing an internship with the city attorney in Los Angeles, and is waiting to hear back from a law school. So,
and then moved to Los Angeles. I attended USC Trojans and graduated from USC, and at this point I'm waiting to hear back from law schools. I'm pursuing law school, and I'm in an internship at the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office with Carmen Chutanich, and just kind of learning the ropes, making sure this is what I want to do before I invest a lot of money and time into a degree that I want to make sure I want before I get it. Well, my rodeo career didn't go quite the way I wanted it to, so rodeoed for a couple years up until about April 30th, 2000.
high school.
I rode bareback rodeo, bareback broncs, and roughstock and rodeo, and we rode in about 3 circuits through around North Dakota, and went to the NDRA, the Rough Rider Circuit, and also the North Dakota High School Rodeo Association. And April 29th to April 30th, we had our first rodeo in Fargo, North Dakota, and the first go around went all right. Second go around didn't go too well, and it was in the morning, April 30th. I got bucked off. My hand blew out of my rigging, and did a couple somersaults backwards, and just lost my position in the air and landed a little wrong on my head and neck. I tweaked my 4th and 5th vertebrae in my neck, which ended up giving me a spinal cord injury, and from there I lost a portion of my movement through my body, and been trying to get it back ever since, and that was about 10 years ago now. So from then on, we kind of switched gears away from, still around the farm, and finished my last 2 years of high school, and then went out to San Diego and Los Angeles to finish up my school and everything there. So that's at the point I'm at right now.
The 19th of January, I was supposed to go in for a prostate surgery. It showed last that I had some prostate cancer, so they were going to remove the prostate. Relatively easy surgery. It was supposed to take a couple hours, and no problems. I made it through that just fine, and everything went well. I was in the recovery room and had a heart attack while I was in the recovery room. So since it was the second surgery, they had limited options. What they ended up doing was a quadruple bypass at that time. So right now I'm recovering from a quadruple bypass and prostate surgery.
And bleeding ulcers.
Well, yeah, that was part of the surgery process. You're gonna get smacked with things from left and right that you aren't ready for, and you gotta adapt to them. I mean, time doesn't wait for no one, so if something happens to you, something happens to someone else. If you don't do something, then adapt to the situation and learn how to conquer that situation, you're gonna stay in the same place you are. You're not gonna prosper, or you're not gonna move on. If you find a way, to adapt to that situation, then you're gonna pass through it and hopefully prosper, because time doesn't wait for nobody. It's gonna keep going on, and you can either sit where you are right now, and if you're not happy with that, you're still not gonna be happy with that 10 years down the road. But if you adapt to it and try to prosper at it and beat that change or bump in the road, then good things should come. Well, Alex has been an inspiration to me. He's never complained about what happened to him. He's had some real tough challenges, and he always faced them like a man, even at 16 years old. When this happened just before his 16th birthday, and he's always set his goals, and he's gone after them, and what would normally take somebody a year or 2 years might take him 3 or 4 years, but he kept after it and finished it. And he has some goals left to accomplish, and my goal is to help him accomplish his goals. And if I can stick around long enough to do that, I mean, I had a real reality check here last winter, and had to decide, what's important, and that's it. That is what is most important to me right now, is to help him achieve his goals, and then my job will be complete. We've rolled with the punches, but
all of our kids.
He showed me how to roll with the punches, so I'm trying to live up to his expectations.
The other two kids, I said it changed their lives too. When a spinal cord injury happens to a family, it changes all of our lives, because Mom kind of all of a sudden wasn't around anymore, and I basically moved with Alex, and hardly ever saw the other kids, and basically, you know, through college and everything, wasn't around much, either of the other two kids, and they knew what they had to do and they did it. And I said, we've been really fortunate with all of our children, both Adam and Scott and Alex, because I said, they basically took off on their own and did what they had to do. And I said it worked out. And we've been real fortunate. We've had great kids. And I said, Tim showed them the way, and they're still going.
April 30th, you know, in 2000, that was the same time we're at now, springtime, and we had a lot of seeding to do. And, you know, we got thrown a curveball there, and, you know, Scott really stepped up to the plate, and, you know, he did a lot of the seeding that needed to be done at that point. You know, parents kind of wanted to be around me at that time for a few weeks when I was in the recovery room there in Fargo, but you know, work still needed to be done. Scott, he really kind of backed away from high school a little bit and took after the farm when Dad was there, but you know.
He was a senior in high school.
You know, and when I was good enough to go to Denver, Dad was able to come back to the farm, so he kind of picked up where Scott left off and was able to get a little bit of normality back.
Scott was a senior in high school, and basically he got out the month of May, 1 month early, because he needed to seed. Tim needed to have that seed in the ground to accomplish our mission. And so Scott, you know, basically left school. Adam was still in college, and there was really no one there to do the job. And I said, that's where, when Tim had his heart attack and had the bypass, and we found out what really farm rescue was all about, it really took a lot of the pressure off. The pressure of what we were going to do and how we were going to get this all done, because there was someone there. There was some help.
It's been a big change for all of us, the past 11 years, I guess. And when all this stuff happened, you just kind of realize how small any problems of your own really might be. Everybody's got their own mountains, it seems like, to face, and some of them are bigger than others. And so it brings it all into perspective for me, and I think, well, it's one thing for, you know, family members to help out. I mean, I always am happy to help out and find ways to come back and help the family whenever we need help, and I'm happy to pitch in. But when a program like Farm Rescue, strangers basically to us, come in and you know, volunteers from all over, and all the equipment and all the sponsors and all the money that goes into helping out, it's a pretty neat deal that people who don't really know us would take that effort and do that. And it's a big sacrifice for them too. And so we appreciate the heck out of it. So farming's just one of those things. It's not like a lot of other occupations where every 2 weeks a paycheck comes in, or you know, you finish a project and you get a paycheck. Here there's one paycheck and it's at the end, and it's not there unless the crop's in the bin. So farming is pretty unique in that way, and if somebody doesn't help in those critical moments, then there's, you know, you're what do? It's a big problem. And so for Farm Rescue to step in, we're pretty happy about it. So
I'd like to really thank Bill and Farm Rescue for coming in with your time, your help, your equipment, everything, and helping. And there's no words that can explain the gratitude that I have for what you're doing and what you've done here today in helping me. And the relief, the everything that goes along with that is this is a very stressful time of the year, and you've helped me through that, especially when my doctor's sitting there saying, try to get rid of some stress, you know, and it's hard to do until you guys show up and you help, you're what the doctor ordered. People that are interested in sponsoring farm rescue, I mean, just think about it. Who else is doing anything like this? Where going around and helping people that have no other alternative, and to do it. And it's not just me, but the whole community. Like Alex said, it's the whole, all the states that you go to and are available in.
This wasn't here 11 years ago when Alex was hurt. And I said, we surely could have used it at that point in time. But I said, now I said, when I found out all about farm rescue, I said, it just eliminates so many of the added burdens that an illness brings. Because we can deal with Alex, that's not a problem. But when Dad can't operate at full speed like he normally does for Spring's work and for farming, I said, farming is a specialized enterprise, and not just anyone you can't take anyone off the street to farm for you. And that's why having someone that knows something and volunteers that know farming, it just eliminates so much of the stress. And you couldn't ask for anything more. You just couldn't ask for anything more.